car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Is this the tackle?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL has a contingency plan to move the Rams playoff game Monday night because of the wildfires in the Los Angeles area. If the air quality continues to be unsafe, the Rams will play Minnesota Monday night at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, home of the Arizona Cardinals. No word yet on when the NFL might make that decision. The Chargers donated $200,000 for relief efforts to help people impacted by the fires. Clippers star Kawhi Leonard was given permission to leave the team in Denver Wednesday afternoon to be with his family. Leonard has a home in Pacific Palisades, one of the areas hardest hit by the wildfires. Residents in Pacific Palisades have been advised to evacuate. The LA Kings hockey game Wednesday night at Crypto.com against Calgary was postponed. The Lakers are scheduled to play at Crypto tonight against Charlotte. The NBA has yet to confirm whether the game will be played. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Move.
First things first with Dominique DePrima at 6 a.m. Tavis Smiley at 9 a.m. Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. The D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show at 2 p.m. A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nee Quarterly Quartet at 4 p.m. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
Tune in weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the talk of the town. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
My people. The foundation of the United States rests on the sweat of my people. Every enemy of the USA has had to face my people on the front line.
People, my people are dying, and we see it all the time. Don't know where our future would be if he's not here. How do we stay strong? Only we can save us from us. Think about change. Show our people love. Oh, yeah. My people, hold your head up. Don't take it back. My people rise. My people rise. My people, we'll march side by side. Doing all right. My people cry. My people ride.
I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us on the program today. In this hour, as promised, two conversations on the backside of this hour. Professor in French and African American Studies at Yale, Marlena Doubt, on her new text, The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henry Christophe. Of course, we will also get her thoughts on the current political and economic crises gripping the tiny island nation of Haiti. So we'll do that on the B side of this hour. We commenced this hour, though, in conversation with David Miliband, former British Foreign Secretary and now head of the International Rescue Committee. I've invited him on to download us in the next 30 minutes here on the emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots in 2025. We'll get to that list here in just a second. As you all know, we are literally at this hour funeralizing former President Jimmy Carter at the National Cathedral in Washington. And I'm curious to get Mr. Miliband's perspective on Jimmy Carter's humanitarian legacy. Whatever one says of Jimmy Carter, one clearly has to acknowledge He may, in fact, be the greatest humanitarian president, certainly the greatest humanitarian ex-president that we've ever had in this country. Winner of the Nobel Prize, of course, later in his career. But it's quite a legacy, quite a humanitarian legacy, that is, that one has to acknowledge and one has to wrestle with. Before I let Mr. Miliband sound off on that, and before we get to this emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots to keep our eyes on in 2025, here now more sound from Jimmy Carter.
I respect the deep desire to reunite divided families. In the interest of that great and valued ethnic community, and in the interest of our country, we will continue to work closely with the Cuban American community to bring about a safe and orderly resolution of this crisis. I continue to be greatly concerned about the treatment of Haitians who have also come to this country recently on small boats. I've instructed all appropriate federal agencies to treat the Haitians now here in the same exact humane manner as we treat Cubans and others who seek asylum in this country. Our laws never contemplated and do not adequately provide for people coming to our shores directly for asylum the way the Cubans and the Haitians have done recently. I will work closely with the Congress to formulate a long-term solution to this problem and to determine the legal status of the boat people once this current emergency is under control.
I have a very wise audience, Mr. Miliband. I don't need to educate them. They know full well the long-standing distinction, the difference between the dichotomy between how we treat Cubans who make it to Florida and how we treat Haitians who make it to Florida. There you hear Jimmy Carter all those years ago saying, no, 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 no. We're going to treat the Haitians just like we treat the Cubans. Not every president, don't get me started, but not every U.S. president has done that. As I said a moment ago, Jimmy Carter has a record of accomplishment on humanitarian causes that's hard to wrestle with. What say you, sir, about Jimmy Carter's humanitarian legacy?
Well, Tavis, it's a great honor to be on your show. I think that the defining characteristic of Jimmy Carter, first of all as a president, then as an ex-president, above all as a person, is his belief in the equal worth of every single human being, whether they were Haitian, Cuban, American, or anything else. He was the man who was honored today by Andrew Young. And Andrew Young's words at the funeral, which I've just had a chance to have a look at, speak to this idea of the dignity of men and women of all races, creeds, religions. Jimmy Carter stood for them all. That's what the essence of being a humanitarian. You look at people as human beings, and you remember they're 99% the same, not just the 1% difference that everyone can see. And I think it's worth just one note that I might add to what you've said so far. President Carter's administration were the authors of the 1980 Refugee Act. That put into practice the commitment that those who were persecuted in foreign lands would find safe haven in the United States. It's the first time that the refugee had been recognized in American law, and it put into practice the 1951 Refugee Convention, which was an international United Nations convention. In 1980, for the first time, it was put into practice in American law, and since then, literally hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, have come as refugees, the most secure route to America, where they're vetted and they're checked out and they're allowed to then come and start their lives here. My organization, the International Rescue Committee, we're very unusual in being both an international humanitarian aid agency, which we're going to talk about today, the international hotspots around the world, but we're also a refugee resettlement and asylum support agency in 30 offices across the United States. And we can do that work in the United States in significant part because of the Carter administration and the Refugee Act that they passed.
Yep. No, I'm glad you added that. Didn't see that coming, but it fits nicely in this conversation. And as you were talking, I'm also thinking of the Camp David Accords. And so, again, it's just a long record of accomplishment on humanitarian causes that Jimmy Carter established, and for which he will always be remembered, and for which he's being acknowledged today, even at this state funeral in Washington at the National Cathedral. When we come forward with David Miliband, we'll get straightway into a conversation about the International Rescue Committee's emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots in 2025. All these places around the globe that they're keeping their eyes on. And I can't wait to hear the list when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired, with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said. So she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer grocery.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby! Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited!
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh my God!
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DePrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580. We on fire. All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up. That's what I want.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with David Miliband, former British Foreign Secretary and now head of the International Rescue Committee, who I've invited on to share with us their emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots in 2025. So, David Miliband, that said, take it away, sir.
Thank you very much, Tavis. It's great to be with you. Look, I think we all have a sense that the world is on fire, and there are not just L.A. on fire, and I'm thinking of you and your neighbors today in L.A.
Thank you, sir.
But around the world, 300 million people are in humanitarian need. That means they depend on aid agencies like the International Rescue Committee to help them survive. So almost the entire population of the equivalent of the entire population of the U.S. 80+% of those people are concentrated in just 20 countries. And I won't go through them all, but Sudan is top of the list. Gaza and the West Bank, number 2. Myanmar, used to be called Burma, number 3. Syria, number 4. South Sudan, number 5. Lebanon, number 6. Burkina Faso, number 7. Haiti, number 8. Mali, number 9. And Somalia, number 10. Let me stop there and say a couple of things about that list. First of all, the concentration of humanitarian need, I said 80% of people in humanitarian need are in those countries, is the first striking thing. Secondly, in the top 6, 3 of them are in the Middle East. Occupied Palestinian territory, Gaza and West Bank, Syria and Lebanon. Third point, of the top 10, you heard the African names there.
Oh, yeah.
Sudan, South Sudan, Burkina Faso, Mali, Somalia, 5 of the top 10. So there's a very significant presence of the African continent. My own organization works in about 22 different African countries out of the 50 plus in Africa. And while there is now a growing middle class in Africa, 350, 400 million people in total, there's a big gap between them and the extreme poor who are concentrated in these fragile and conflict-affected states. One other thing I'll just say, and then let's make it more of a conversation, not a lecture. What we're seeing, and what many of your listeners I think will be interested in, what's causing these problems? Well, we know that conflict is the number one denominator of extreme humanitarian need. Number two, conflict is often compounded by the climate crisis. In some ways, conflict is partially caused by conflict over resources. But in the places that I'm talking about, the climate crisis is already a reality. Drought, floods in Pakistan, drought in Somalia. These are present today in the countries that we're talking about. Thirdly, these countries are on the wrong end of the global economic equation. When we know interest rates and inflation went up in the United States in the last 3 or 4 years. Come down now, but interest rates still 5-6% if you want a mortgage in America. In Kenya or in Somalia, never mind in Central African Republic, 15-20%. And so governments are paying off debts, not investing in their health and education services. That's compounding the problems that exist. And our emergency watch list is a call to action, not just a warning about what's going on. So we also talk about how we can make a difference in those places, because I know that there are big problems in the United States. I'm based in New York. Our organization was created by Albert Einstein in New York. But the foreign aid budget is less than 0.2% of the American gross domestic product, of the national income of the country. So for a small investment, we can get big return for people in great need.
You said so much, David Miliband, that's worth interrogating, and I want to do just that. Let me start with this, though, because I'm curious about this part. When we think of, and I'll get to the list, trust me, when we think of Albert Einstein, we think, of course, of his intellect. We think of the formulas that he brought forth that we wrestle with even all these years later. We don't think of Albert Einstein in the context of a rescue committee. Tell me how that came to be right quick.
That's a great point. He was a refugee.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein was born in Germany. He was born in Germany in the early 20th century. And he came to America to study at Princeton University. And then Hitler came to power in 1933. Albert Einstein was Jewish. He wasn't able to go back without fear. And he stayed in America as a refugee. And he created the International Rescue Committee for a very simple reason. He begged his friend, Eleanor Roosevelt, to persuade her husband, President Roosevelt, to allow persecuted minorities in Germany and in wider in Europe to come to America. And many were not, only a very few were allowed to come. And in desperation, Albert Einstein set up with his friends the International Rescue Committee, or its forerunner, the Emergency Rescue Committee, to try to help rescue people from Nazi-occupied Europe. Our first employee was in Nazi-occupied France, forging passports to help people get out of trouble. And we honor that tradition today in the work that we do for people who are trying to get to the U.S. to escape from persecution and danger, whether they be from Venezuela or Cuba or Haiti or anywhere else. But we also take forward the humanitarian mission by trying to work upstream to help people who are victims of war and disaster around the world.
I say all the time, David, this audience hears it routinely, that I always leave this studio smarter every day than when I came in, courtesy of brilliant guests like you. I did not know that part of Albert Einstein's backstory. So it's fascinating to learn that. So thank you for sharing that. Again, I'm working my way to this list, but you keep saying things that make me want to follow up. So let me just ask this right quick. And I don't mean to make you political, but let me just ask, given that Albert Einstein himself was an immigrant, what say you about the way, not just in this country, you're based in New York, but you see this around the globe, the way that migrants are being treated, immigrants being treated or maltreated? How does I want to phrase this the right way, how does the maltreatment of persons moving from conflict in one place to another place? How does their maltreatment by the places they're trying to populate impact this crisis? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I think it's very important to say that there are two sides to this picture.
Okay.
Most refugees, people who are fleeing from conflict, are not in America or Europe. They're not in high-income countries. 75% of the world's refugees are in poor countries.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to you earlier, the number one humanitarian crisis in the world at the moment is in Sudan, in the northeast of Africa. Most of the refugees who've left Sudan have gone to South Sudan, a very poor country, or Chad, a very poor country. In total, about 1.5 million refugees. And in those countries, they are not told, you're not welcome here. They're told, you're our brothers and sisters, and we owe you a debt as human beings, and we're going to allow you to stay until it's safe for you to go home.
Mm-hmm.
That's one part of the picture. Now, there is another side of the picture, which involves quite a different rhetoric and quite a different practice, and a presumption that somehow these people, far from fleeing danger, are on the make. And we know that there's that kind of politics around, and we know that it's in a very different place and leads to very different conclusions than the alternative approach. Of course, not everyone can come to America or come to Europe, but frankly, not everyone wants to come to America or to Europe. What you need is effective systems to say, is this person fleeing danger? If so, they have a right to stay. If they're not fleeing danger, they don't have a right to stay. They have to go through the normal immigration routes. And our approach as a humanitarian agency is to say, number one, treat every human being as a human being. Number two, establish a fair and effective and fast system for deciding whether or not people have the right to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And thirdly, and importantly, let's honor the leadership that has helped make countries like this one great, because after all, it's been made by people who's come from around the world, not just who were here at the beginning.
To your point about this country, I'm looking at a survey that came out earlier this week, a story in the Associated Press. Headline reads, "Immigration is a higher priority for Americans than it was a year ago," according to this AP poll. Let me just read right quickly. More Americans say immigration should be a top focus for the U.S. government in 2025 as the country heads toward a new Republican administration in which President-elect Donald Trump has promised the mass deportation of migrants and an end to birthright citizenship. Now, when I saw this story, it struck me because it speaks once again, I think, to what I call America's political schizophrenia. And that is, on the one hand, we demonize immigrants too much these days. On the other hand, we think that immigration now ought to be a higher priority. I guess that depends on how you're defining immigration. I guess it depends on what you think the solutions ought to be to the immigration crisis that we have in this country. But how do you read surveys like this that suggest that most Americans believe that immigration in this country at least ought to be a higher priority?
Well, there's nothing wrong with giving it priority, because clearly the immigration system and the refugee system could function much, much, much better.
Mm-hmm.
After all, there hasn't been bipartisan immigration legislation, I think, since 1986.
That's right.
So there's a lot of room for modernizing the immigration approach. Here's what I would say. It's very, very important to have an immigration system with integrity, and it's also very important to have a refugee and asylum system with integrity, and they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is that the refugee and asylum system is designed for people who are fleeing for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
The immigration system is designed for people who want to move, either to join their families or to get a better life. Both of them are perfectly reasonable, but they're different, and they have different legal and, I would say, moral requirements. We help people, my organization, the International Rescue Committee, we help people whose lives are shattered by conflict and disaster, who are fleeing from Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. And as I say, most of them we're helping in Sudan, but we're also helping them in their neighboring countries. There are also people, let's say Venezuela, who are the subject of political persecution. I met a student from Venezuela who's in southern Mexico. She's staying there. We're helping her there. She wants eventually to go back to Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
America has a responsibility when people arrive to come to America and say they're being persecuted. Let's find out if they are being persecuted, and if so, let's let them stay. If they're not, they can't stay on the refugee route. And so I would say there's nothing wrong with Americans saying, let's sort out our immigration and our asylum and our refugee arrival system. But let's be clear, what we're doing, how we're doing it, what the value base is, and how we're cooperating with other countries to manage the global movement of people.
Yeah. I did not know all the cities. Well, I'm lying. I saw the list before you came on the radio, but I was wrestling with the top 20 places on this emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots in 2025. But before I saw the list and before you ran down the list for the audience today, I already knew that the primary reason, as you detailed quite nicely, for these countries being on the list is conflict, or as you put it, conflict and disaster, which leads me to ask how you and the team of people at the International Rescue Committee get up every day doing the work that you are doing when you know full well, regrettably, sadly, that the two primary reasons, or the three primary reasons, for these countries being on the list are issues that are going to continue unabated for the foreseeable future. I can't sit here today and tell you that I see conflict going away. Climate change isn't going to change overnight. The economic picture isn't going to flip overnight, and yet the IRC does its work every single day. I guess it's a strange way of asking how you sustain your hope in this work and witness.
Well, that is a really important point, which I often get asked, and I'd love your listeners to go to our website, rescue.org, and what they will feel is a sense of, I think, three things. They'll feel, first of all, in the face of human misery, we need a bias to action. Mm-hmm. If you can do something, let's do something. Secondly, they'll see that people are willing to take risks to help people. When you read on our website about what we're doing in Sudan or Syria or Gaza or Myanmar, people will be able to read about my colleagues who are willing to take risk, not least because they are from those areas. Mm-hmm. In Sudan, we hire people who are Sudanese. It's their own communities they're defending. And the third thing that I think will scream through the website is that there are universal values that we've got to stand up for. Human beings are human beings, and they have rights as a result of being a human being. And I was brought up to believe if you can make a difference, you should, and if you don't, it's a waste. And that's the spirit of the organization. Here, I'll end with this. You asked, how do you sustain hope? And I'll quote to you something that keeps me going. If you look at the statistics, you get depressed. If you look at the people, you have hope. That's a way of thinking about our responsibilities in the world.
We are grateful for the work and the witness of the International Rescue Committee, founded years ago by one Albert Einstein, but now being run by the former British Foreign Secretary David Miliband. You heard the list of the top 10 countries, at least, on the list. If you go to that website, rescue.org, you can learn more about these humanitarian hotspots on their emergency watch list for 2025. But I'm indeed grateful for the time that Mr. Miliband has given us to unpack that list as best we could. Mr. Miliband, again, thank you for your work and witness, and honor to have you on this program. All the best to you and your team at the IRC in the coming months and years.
Well, Tavis, thank you very much. It was a great honor to speak to you.
Thank you, my friend. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Former President Jimmy Carter's state funeral is underway in Washington, D.C. The Georgia native died at the age of 100 late last year and will return to his hometown of Plains to be buried next to his wife. The wildlife burning in Southern California remains 0% contained. The Palisades fire has burned more than 17,000 acres since erupting Tuesday, while the Eaton fire has scorched over 10,000 acres. Last night, a new fire started in the famous Hollywood Hills and has burned just over 40 acres. Today is the deadline for prosecutors to respond to President-elect Trump's request to block his hush money sentencing. Trump's lawyers argue for presidential immunity. And the Oscars voting period is extended due to the Southern California wildfires. The nominations announcement is pushed from January 17th to the 19th to accommodate affected voters. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL has a contingency plan to move the Rams playoff game Monday night because of the wildfires in the Los Angeles area. If the air quality continues to be unsafe, the Rams will play Minnesota Monday night at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, home of the Arizona Cardinals. No word yet on when the NFL might make that decision. The Chargers donated $200,000 for relief efforts to help people impacted by the fires. Clippers star Kawhi Leonard was given permission to leave the team in Denver Wednesday afternoon to be with his family. Leonard has a home in Pacific Palisades, one of the areas hardest hit by the wildfires. Residents in Pacific Palisades have been advised to evacuate. The LA Kings hockey game Wednesday night at Crypto.com against Calgary was postponed. The Lakers are scheduled to play at Crypto tonight against Charlotte. The NBA has yet to confirm whether the game will be played. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
He's a paradigm pioneer and the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Pleased to welcome to this program Professor of French and African American Studies at Yale, Marlena Doubt, to discuss her new text, The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henry Christophe. Of course, we'll also get her take a little bit later in this conversation about how this tiny sovereign nation, this island nation of Haiti, can overcome its bleak spiral as it struggles even now under political instability and gang violence. Gang violence, we are told, that results in the deaths of more than 5,600 people in just 2024. Pleased to welcome Professor Doubt to this program. How are you today? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. Thanks so much for having me.
It's good to have you on. Let me make the most of the time that we do have. Let's jump straight away into you telling me about the book, The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henry Christophe. Take it away.
Sure. So The First and Last King of Haiti really is, in many ways, a cradle-to-grave biography of Henri Christophe, who is mostly known as one of the Haitian revolutionaries. But what's interesting is he was actually born on the British island of Grenada in 1767. He fought in the American Revolutionary War at the Battle of Savannah, and only then he found himself on the island of Saint-Domingue in the French colony, which eventually became Haiti during the independence period. And a few years after that, in 1811, he became the king of the country. So that's the story I'm following.
Yeah. Tell me more about his journey to become king.
Sure. So he becomes a principal player in the freedom struggle that results in Haitian independence on January 1st, 1804. He's kind of one of the most important generals to the much more well-known Toussaint Louverture, who unfortunately dies and before independence is declared. And then Henri Christophe is the general-in-chief of the Haitian army under Haiti's first ruler, Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines, known as Jacques I. He also, Dessalines has a tragic end. He is assassinated in October 1806. And after this is the period where we really see Christophe's rise, first as president of the north of Haiti, and then later as king.
Mm-hmm. This question might sound strange, but take it as you will. Take me back and give us some sense of what independence looked like, what independence felt like for this tiny island nation all those years ago. We know historically what that independence means in this hemisphere, this tiny black island nation. But what does independence look like and feel like for Haiti back then?
Yes, I mean, it's such a key question because you have to think about that they had suffered more than 200 years of slavery just by French rule. And Saint-Domingue was known as one of the cruelest slave colonies, if not the cruelest slave colony in the Atlantic world. And so now with freedom and independence declared, the Haitian people celebrate, but they also legislate. And one of the first things they do is to say that slavery is permanently abolished. They outlaw colonialism. They make laws against racism. And really, they ban the slave trade and become the first modern nation, therefore, to ban slavery and the slave trade. But they also get to work rebuilding the new country. They're interested in having trade with the United States. But the United States is not interested in trade with them, at least officially. Under President Jefferson, a trade embargo is issued, and it persists for a number of years, even in Christophe's era. And so the rest of the world kind of makes ruling difficult in independent Haiti. But as far as the people are concerned, they are free of their French enslavers, and they have no intention of ever going back under the yoke of slavery or French colonialism.
Tell me why. No naivete, of course, in asking this question, but it's worth having the long view in this conversation. And too often we don't have the long view in our discourse, in our dialogues. But I love how you put your finger on the issue that I wanted to come to right away. So let's go there. And that is that even in the time of Henry Christophe, this book is called The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henry Christophe. Even way back then, when Haiti fights and gains its independence, immediately the United States takes a hostile approach, a hostile stature toward this nation of Haiti, this newly independent nation of Haiti. The U.S. is hostile toward them from the very beginning. Why?
Absolutely. The United States is hostile because slavery persists across the United States, and the U.S. leaders are petrified that Haiti's revolution, that this spirit of true freedom, black freedom, and with it black sovereignty, is going to transfer over to U.S. shores. In fact, immediately after the Haitian Revolution formally breaks out in 1791, you can see a series of laws crop up around, especially the southern United States, talking about black sailors need to be detained, anti-sedition laws, because the idea is that the rulers of the United States saw that independence that Haiti eventually declares, that freedom struggle, that it could be contagious. What the scholar Julia Scott called, it would travel on the common wind. And that was what U.S. leaders were trying to prevent. And once Haiti became independent and strong sovereign leaders came to power, this actually petrified U.S. leaders even more, because their racism prevented them from thinking that this was actually possible. And when they saw it come to fruition, particularly once Christophe comes to power and builds schools and hospitals and roads and opens trade with England and starts, drenching the country in wealth, they realize, oh, perhaps people over here in the United States are going to get some ideas about what black freedom could look like.
I thought I heard you suggest this earlier, and I know this to be the case anyway. Let me just ask you to go a little deeper. So it is the case that when the U.S. takes this, how might I put it, this mendacious stance against Haiti, this new independent nation, when the U.S. takes this hostile stance toward them, other republics, other countries around the world did likewise. And my sense is that you can draw a straight line from then until now about why other nations have continued to thumb their nose at Haiti for having the temerity to gain and to fight for their own independence.
Absolutely, because even though England and France are sort of in perpetual war in the time period that I'm discussing, even England, even Great Britain, even though it's independent Haiti under Christophe's greatest trading power, even they refuse to recognize Haitian sovereignty, which is to say they persist in calling Haiti Saint-Domingue, its name under French colonial rule, and they will not take any public stance to say Haiti has the right to be free and independent. And part of that is about not angering France, but the other part of it is that, of course, Great Britain still has slavery in all of its colonies as well. And those colonies, particularly the governor of Jamaica, they are petrified as well that the revolution is going to transfer. And there is a straight line to what's going on today because, of course, France is the one that twists Henri Christophe's successor's arm, Jean-Pierre Boyer, compelling him to sign this disastrous indemnity whereby Haiti would owe 150 million francs to its former colonizer, France. The world had never seen such an agreement. There's not a starker example of the world trying to punish black people for being free.
You just answered part of this question, but before we see the successor come on the scene for Mr. Christophe, what does Henry Christophe himself do in the face of this this pushback from the U.S. and other nations around the globe?
I'm so glad you asked this, because this is why I am so fascinated and want to study this period, because the rule of Henri Christophe is the last time, historically speaking, that the nation of Haiti has had unequivocal sovereignty. Christophe insisted that Haitians were not the playthings of the Western world powers. So while the United States had previously issued a trade embargo against Haitians, what did Henri Christophe do in the face of French threats? because under each successive French ruler after Napoleon, the French are trying to, quote unquote, restore their sovereignty. He issues a trade embargo against France. He's not willing to sell the country, so to speak, in order to acquire recognition. He says that recognition is useless because Haitian independence is a fatal truth, and that the other world powers deny it at their own peril. And he takes this very strong stance saying, we will not negotiate with France or any of the Western powers under terms in which Haitian sovereignty and independence is not de facto recognized. You can't call us Saint-Domingue. You can't refer to me as General Christophe, that it must be from one independent world power negotiating with another independent world power. And this is what was really lost when he died, was this unequivocal stance.
Yeah. The current drama notwithstanding, this is why I love the Haitian people. I've been there so many times. There is no better example of resilience anywhere on the globe than you will find in this tiny island nation of Haiti, just off our shores. More with Professor Marlena Dodd about her new text and about the current crisis in Haiti when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOTOR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOTOR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOTOR.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby! Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited!
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh my God!
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DePrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up. That's what I want.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Marlena Dodd. Her new book is called The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henri Christophe. And delighted to have her on this program for these moments to not just discuss the text, but indeed to discuss the current crisis. I asked earlier about how one can draw a line from Haiti fighting to gain its independence all those years ago to this present moment precisely, and namely the way in which this country, the U.S. and other nations around the world, have had a sort of hostile stance toward Haiti for all these years, and yet one looks at Haiti right now, as I mentioned earlier, massacre upon massacre. You look at this bleak spiral. I would not go so far as to call Haiti a failed state. Others have done that. I'm not going to go that far, but it is troubling, obviously beyond troubling, to see that in just 2024 alone, more than 5,600 people killed in this gang violence. How do you connect what's happening now to what happened then? And let me complicate it a bit more for you. You're a professor, you can handle it. You're at Yale. It's not just a question of how you connect what's happening now to what happened then, but whether or not, as long as we keep making that connection, whether or not we are somehow excusing the bad behavior that's happening inside this country right now. I'll stand down and let you respond.
I would say there are no excuses. Bad behavior, human rights violations are human rights violations. They've been a part of every country, dare I say it, on this earth. Haiti is not exempt from that. Even in the time periods that I study, Belen Devate, who was one of Henri Christophe's principal secretaries, said our causes are internal. The causes of our turmoil, they're internal and external to our country. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing that today. We have seen in the past world leaders in Haiti who are more interested in playing nice and profiting from relationships with the international community. They are more interested in participating in capitalism and enriching themselves in global national capital than they are in the welfare of the Haitian people. And none of this is excusable. What Haiti needs right now is strong leaders. They need representative government that is by the people and for the people, not leaders who want recognition and respect from the world powers, because that's what we have seen over and over again, is when leaders are more concerned with what the rest of the world thinks and wants for Haiti rather than what Haiti and Haitians want. That's where we see troubling problems arise.
I have traveled to that country any number of times over the course of my career and had the honor of interviewing a number of their presidents, including Rene Preval and Mr. Aristide. So I've spent some good time in that country, again, talking not just to presidents, but indeed everyday people. So I have a particular affection for this country. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Professor Marlena Doubt, I do want to circle back to the conversation we had before she came on. We were talking to David Miliband earlier, who is the head of the International Rescue Committee, and he revealed their emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots in 2025. If you were listening, you see where I'm going. Haiti was in the top 10 of these humanitarian hotspots to watch in 2025. We'll get Professor Doubt's take on that when we come forward in our remaining moments with her on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
He does indeed. Just a few minutes left here, 3 minutes to be exact, with Professor Marlena Doubt. Her book is called The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henri Christophe. Have delighted in having her on this program. I'll give these last 2.5, 3 minutes to you, Professor Doubt. I mentioned earlier that David Miliband was on this program just before you came on, head of the International Rescue Committee, revealing their emergency watch list for humanitarian hotspots for 2025. Even as we speak, for the year to come, Haiti is in the top 10 of humanitarian hotspots to watch. What say you about that reality?
You know, I would say let us not just watch. Let us take action, because I think that too often when the world has come to save Haiti, they are coming to quote-unquote save Haiti based on what is in their own best interest, not what is in the best interest of the Haitian people. And it's time for the world to consider that what is in the best interest of the Haitian people might not be in the best interest of the United States, might not be in the best interest of France or the United Nations. And that if they really, really want to help, then they need to act in the best interest of Haiti and Haitians, which means following their lead. And with the situation with France, I think we must all take seriously and continue to put pressure on the French government. As Leslie Voltaire, who's president of the Transition Council, recently argued when he called for peace, he said France needs to repay the debt of independence and pay reparations for slavery. It's time for the world to not laugh or balk at these commands and say that they are impossible. The French had a distinct role in impoverishing the Haitian people, the United States as well, with the U.S. occupation and further occupations into the 20th century, and the UN with the disastrous cholera epidemic that they unwittingly leashed upon the Haitian people. There must be restorative justice. One element of that is returning Haiti to the rule of law and supporting Haitians in that mission. But the other element is repairing the wrongs that the Western world has repeatedly visited upon Haiti and Haitians.
I could not agree more. It is not either or, but both and that's the case that Professor Doubt makes. It is both and. France owes Haiti a debt, a long-standing debt, that they ought to be pressed to pay. So it's not just reparations that we're talking about in this country. There ought to be reparations from France to Haiti. We'll leave it there. The book is called The First and Last King of Haiti, The Rise and Fall of Henri Christophe. The author of that book is Professor of French and African American Studies. I am mad at her, at Yale. Professor Doubt, good to have you on. Congratulations on the text, and have a great year.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Pleasure was all mine. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Former President Jimmy Carter's state funeral is underway in Washington, D.C. The Georgia native died at the age of 100 late last year and will return to his hometown of Plains to be buried next to his wife. The wildlife burning in Southern California remains 0% contained. The Palisades fire over 40 acres. Today is the deadline for prosecutors to respond to President-elect Trump's request to block his